Hey again, everybody. Wanted to go over the difference between the STI and WRX Driveshaft because I didn't know the difference until just tonight because it's the first time I've finally put the driveshaft side by side, and I didn't really notice anything in pictures. Maybe I'm just old and blind, I don't know, but I'm going to show you some differences here. First difference is the ends, and you can see it's a little thicker on that end of the yoke there than the WRX. Looks like about maybe 2 millimeters thicker. You can see a pretty obvious difference there. It's bigger on just the flat side too. The corners are coming out more. There's a little more metal there. U-joints are a little beefier. You can see that one has a little more metal on it than the WRX. The STI driveshaft is shorter because the STI transmission is longer, and that makes sense. The STI has a U-joint in the middle and a narrow part like right there for some reason. The WRX does not. The STI has this disc cast into it. The WRX does not. And the U-joint on the end is beefier on the STI than on the WRX. You can see that pretty obviously there. So those are the main differences. When you're looking for an STI driveshaft, if you don't get it with the full, you order the transmission and it doesn't come with a driveshaft, that's the one on the right is the STI. That's the one you want. So the bolts, use the same bolts from the WRX. There's a flat part on them that goes against this flat part, and they won't turn. So you can turn the nuts, spin the driveshaft around, tighten the nuts, and you're good to go. And another thing I wanted to show you, I'm just excited about it. I got the front axles back in, and that's cool. I'm excited to have that done. And the suspension and the struts and everything pretty much all torqued down. So I'm glad for that. I wanted to go over real quick how I bleed the clutch slave. It works really well. I tested this on the WRX slave. I always test it out. I don't know, I guess I'm picky that way. Haven't taken this line and the softer line off yet, but I block off the slave with a C-clamp, and I'll show you exactly how I do it. When you block it off, just have the pedal in the undepressed position, so it's out. It may drop to the floor when you uninstall your WRX clutch. It just loses pressure. When that pedal's out and you block this off, you pump that pedal maybe 4 or 5 times and pressure builds up immediately. Then you just come and release the fitting right there with a line on it going into some brake fluid in a bottle, and then let the air and whatever amount of fluid comes out, close it up, pump it up again, repeat, and loosen that fitting until you just get all the air out. Very simple, and that thing's bled. How I blocked it off, took the end off, which is this. Both the WRX and STI ends, they're the same. There's no difference in those. Really, the only difference is how the slave bolts up to the transmission. This is the STI one. By the way, I found my crush washers. I had put them in here, put the bolt on and put them right in there. So yay, I found those. Both of the cylinders look the same as this. They're both the same. What I did was, it fits perfectly. The old bushing that I took off of the front, it's called the front shifter bushing for the STI. It is where the shift lever bolts to the horizontal shifter arm right below the shift boot. I took these out, but I kept them because I think maybe I can use these. Sure enough, I can. This pushes in. This thickness of the bushing is absolutely perfect to block it in there. Push it in, clamp it with a C-clamp like it is in my WRX, and then go and make sure the pedal is in the out position. Pump the pedal a couple times. This is, of course, with the line and everything installed on the firewall and the brake fluid going to run through it. Have an extra, bottle or two of brake fluid just in case. And then pump that pedal, release the fitting with the hose on it. Make sure there's a fluid in there and a line going down into the fluid. And then you can successfully bleed that slave cylinder by yourself. See? And there's usually a hose inside the bottle I just took out. Make sure that is connected to that little nipple in there, and you're good to go to bleed that thing out by yourself. Really cool. It works for me. I just find it to be the easiest thing. So I already showed you these parts the other day. I got that Killer Bee. Lets you keep the idiot light for the oil pressure, and then lets you add a oil pressure gauge. I'm not going to need that because I found out that with the Motec, you run wires from the oil pressure where the oil pressure sensor is, and you run a connection to the Motec, and then it displays the oil pressure on the same factory dash mounted gauge readout, where it shows your boost pressure and stuff, and you can see it all on there. I don't know exactly how it all works yet, but you can like switch to, oil pressure and temperature and all these things. It's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that for sure. Don't have the Motec yet. And I'm soon to get my engine back here. Probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks or so. And I'm so glad to have all my parts laid out flat on the counter instead of all stacked right here the way they were. So now I can find stuff. I'm very glad. I'm very excited. So just wanted to share a few things with you guys again and kind of share my excitement. Thanks for watching my video. Appreciate it. And I hope these videos help you guys. I hope something in these videos helps someone. Even if it only helps one person, then I'm happy. But I'll see you guys next time.